Now, could the next election, one of the big issues be nuclear power? Now, as you know, the federal government needs to pass a law through both houses of parliament for us to be able to lift the moratorium on being able to use nuclear power, to be able to get rid of its waste. And we all know that if we're serious about killing off emissions, this is the way to do it. It'll be expensive, it'll be complicated, but we see today that very high levels of government are actively talking about it. James McGrath is part of those discussions right now. Of course, a senator from here in beautiful Queensland. And Senator, how serious is this? Is this going to get from idea to, well, something that will be put to the Australian people as, well, you re-elect us, you get the moves towards removing these bans?
Well, I hope so, because if you want to lower emissions and you want cheap and reliable energy, it is criminally irresponsible for nuclear energy to not be part of that mix. The Prime Minister and the government have been very clear about having a technology roadmap to lower emissions. At the moment in Australia, it's against the law for us to have any type of further advancement on nuclear technology or nuclear energy. You're on the Gladstone at the moment. I've been on the Gladstone with Ken O'Dowd and Ron Harding, who was our candidate there in the last year's state election. Just imagine that boat out to sea being powered by nuclear energy. How brilliant would that be, and how environmentally friendly would that be? But we've got to have a conversation with the Australian people, because sadly the Labor Party will probably run a scare campaign.
But it does seem that the Australian people are smart enough to know what the case is, and it's not the 80s anymore.
Totally. And people are starting to understand that they want to have an energy mix, and they want to understand that when you talk about nuclear power and you talk about nuclear energy, we're not talking about Mr. Burns from The Simpsons. We're talking about modular power units. We're talking about a country. We have a third of the world's uranium. We are geologically stable. We are one of the world's longest democracies. So, as I said, it's criminally irresponsible for us to not have this conversation. But the first step for us is to lift the ban on advancements in nuclear technology. And that is something that I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to take to the next election.
On a scale of 1 to 10, how stupid was Labor to fall for the Greens play last night? Because basically they have now given you the vote that says that they voted against coal. They lost the last election on that here in Queensland.
And you are in Gladstone. You are coming from a very, very important part of Queensland in terms of the industries, in terms of the energy that comes out of Gladstone. Labor are so dumb, they are so stupid. I've got one-legged chooks in my chook house who are smarter than Labor when it comes to understanding the politics of Queensland. And you've got to make sure that in seats like Flynn, where you've got a newly endorsed Labor candidate, Ken O'Dowd, stepping down. Well, if Labor want to go to this next election campaigning against coal, well, bring it on. Like, I'll mark their dance card every single time, because Queenslanders want jobs. They want cheap and reliable energy. And this just shows that Labor are going to fall for the Greens tricks all the time. No matter who is the leader, no matter the colour of their campaign material, what font they've chosen for their material, the Labor Party is now a left-wing party. It is no longer the party of the worker, it is the party of the woker.
Yeah, absolutely. Good on you, Senator. I just saw a photo of you up on the bridge here of HMAS Gladstone. Absolutely a key part of the tourism in this area, and of course those resources are a big thing of what we'll talk about tomorrow night. Thank you, Senator.
Anytime. Toodaloo.